On today's wrestling news, Jacob Fatu debuts in WWE.
Tony Khan has never met or talked to Shane McMahon.
AEW Dynamite has a record low rating.
And we've got a few updates on the matches that are planned for Summerslam.
Are you ready? Are you ready for the news time? My name is Phil Chambers and I'm joined by Gareth Morgan to talk all things wrestling news. But first up, last night on SmackDown, it was Cody versus Solo Sikoa in the main event. And just as Cody was about to hit the crossroads on Solo Sikoa, obviously the Bloodline come and attack him, because that's what they do these days. Owens and Orton came out to kind of make the save, and then like the three of them, Owens, Orton and Cody, kind of cornered Solo Sikoa in the corner. That's where you corner people. And then Solo Sikoa just kind of starts laughing maniacally, and then all of a sudden from behind, Jacob Fatu appears. He super kicks everyone. He Samoan drops Owens on the ring steps on the outside. He spears Orton through the barricade. Then he does a massive splash from the top rope to the announce table on Cody and puts him through that, and basically just tears through absolutely everybody, looking like an absolute maniac and looking like a beast and looking amazing. If you don't know anything about Jacob Fatu, so well, there's your introduction. It's a hell of a one. But go check out some of his other stuff. He most well known in MLW. He was their longest reigning champion ever at 819 days, which is kind of nuts. And he's obviously the cousin of the Usos and Solo Sikoa. But he is here. It feels like Bloodline 2.0 is finally whole. The rumours have been surrounding Solo Sikoa's debut. Not Solo Sikoa. Why do I keep doing this? Jacob Fatu's debut for absolutely ages now. And he's finally there in the Bloodline. And it looks like he's going to make a hell of a splash on SmackDown. And he looks really, really good.
Yeah, he was really put over as this like unstable menace. They were like, "Whoa, okay, we've had some badasses here, but this guy shouldn't even be on television. This is scary," and it worked for me. I'm a simple guy. People tell me this, I'm like, yes, I believe you. This guy's terrifying. He's explosive. He feels like a threat, and I think for me that's been my not like massive issue with the new Bloodline, but there've been moments where I felt like, okay, this is a threatening new unit, and then it's sort of tapered off a little bit. The momentum, I feel like this has been slightly dropped, whereas now it's this massive like injection of genuine fear to this human. I thought, oh, no one's safe. No one is safe. This guy will kill everyone. He will kill everyone in this business.
He looks real good too. Like he's trimmed down a bit. He's like, his facial expressions are absolutely amazing. Like it feels like the presentation of this guy is going to be on point.
Yeah, I think this could be the thing, just the little ingredient that'll just help make this Bloodline 2.0 just feel a little bit different and a bit more captivating for me, and I'm super excited about that. So yeah, great, good SmackDown.
It was
as well.
a good
really
SmackDown.
good
Let us know
SmackDown.
down in the comments below what you think of the debut of Jacob Fatu.
Yeah.
Whenever Roman Reigns comes back, this is gonna be good.
Yeah. Speaking of big debuts that are going to happen soon, Shane McMahon to AEW is probably not. It's probably not going to happen, guys, because that would be insanity. And yeah, we've got a bit of a follow-up here, because obviously the big story of the week has been the fact that I think it was was on the Grilling JR podcast thing, like they were talking about it. Jim Ross and Conrad Thompson were talking about just the potential, the possibility of Shane going to AEW, and then Thompson said that a mutual friend of his and Ross's texted him out of the blue to say that the idea wasn't as crazy as some might think, and that McMahon had actually reached out to AEW wrestlers to hypothetically discuss the idea. So a lot of people were like, sorry, what? Right, you need to sit down 2024. This is too much. Like we've had enough. But now Meltzer in the Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, he has said, well, he's got a quote from AEW like head president Tony Khan, and it says, "I've never met him or talked to McMahon in my life." So that's that straight away. Also, just like a few other tidbits to go along with this. So Meltzer said that some higher ups on both sides of the food chain, so that's like assumed WWE, AEW kind of sides, they said they had heard nothing close to the rumours, while others he spoke with said they heard nothing other than what Thompson had said. And then on top of this, said that another person mentioned to him in a conversation about McMahon and an ex-WWE wrestler currently in AEW, that McMahon and the wrestler were chatting about the attention it would get if he came out on Dynamite. However, the conversation wasn't like a pitch for that to happen. It was just like, oh, this would be weird, wouldn't it? Which it would. It'd be absolute insanity. So, yeah, that's another development in the ongoing Shane McMahon AEW saga, which is a sentence that I shouldn't be surprised. Wrestling is just broken, isn't it? What a weird world.
Yeah, it is kind of nuts. It's a bit of a shame that it's kind of the rumor killer about this. Like, I was just kind of excited to see Shane McMahon in AEW, to be honest. It's just a bizarre thing that you can never expect to happen. And it'd just be weird. I'd bring on the chaos, bring on the absolute chaos of it, and then McMahon in AEW. Don't know what else to add to it. It just...
Best in the world. Best in the world.
Exactly. I'd absolutely love it. It'd be so damn funny, especially after the last time we saw him in wrestling at Mania. Good stuff. Speaking of AEW, the Dynamite rating this week was not good at all. So they did 502,000 viewers in the overall viewership and a 0.16 in the demo, which is 18 to 49. Now, to break that down, the overall viewership was a 26% drop from last week, and it's the lowest ever for a Dynamite on a Wednesday night. The third lowest for a Dynamite ever, and the only two that were lower were back in June in 2021 when it was kind of moved to a Saturday because of loads of other things going on. Now the demo, which is the bit that the networks care about because that's the bit that the advertisers care about because that's what the bit where they think people spend the most amount of money. So that is the lowest in the history of the show ever, including those 2 weekends when it was moved to a Saturday night, and it's down 30% from last week. Now, they've got no major sports competition, but it was up against the College World Series and the Olympic Trials, which both topped the charts of cable and network, respectively. And it was also a Juneteenth holiday, and there was like a Kendrick Lamar streaming thing on Amazon. Whether that made a difference, who knows? But it was a thing that happened. But it's also the biggest year-over-year drop in the history of AEW Dynamite because it's down 51% in the demo from this time last year, which is kind of massive. But overall, all these numbers add up to basically NXT beat it in the ratings this week in both viewership and in the demo, which is not great. Now, obviously, things change. Viewing patterns fluctuate and ratings go up and down kind of naturally over the course of a series and things like that. It's also definitely not a catastrophe. It's still like third in the cable ratings for the night. It still often gets tops those ratings depending on what sort of major sports it's up against. It's still massive viewership for the network on Wednesday nights, and it's not going anywhere. They're still going to get a big old TV rights renewal from this. It's not going to make a difference to AEW. AEW is not going anywhere. It's not dying. However, it is a major decline, and it's a trend that has been going on now for, I think, 31 weeks. It has had Dynamite was lower this year than it was the same time last year, which is a trend, and it's going down. So it needs to be addressed. But just to stop any kind of catastrophizing that might go on, AEW Dynamite is not going anywhere. This is not the end of the world for Dynamite. They are still going to keep on going. It's just something that they definitely need to address. Yeah,
it is. It's something that they'll be looking at and they'll be a little bit concerned by, because anytime the graph's going like that, instead of that, you're always going to go, all right, what can we do to try and improve this and just either keep at the same level or hopefully shoot up the other way. And I think now it's never a good time to have your worst ever of anything, but I think now at this time when you're just coming into this all-in, road to all-in period where there's going to be momentum now, there's going to be hype, people are really going to be like, oh my god, we're coming up to this massive Super Wembley show, now's the time to really, just keep trying to do stuff. That's a really unarticulate or inarticulate way of saying it. Just do stuff. Just do new stuff.
Do stuff, guys.
Do
God,
stuff,
so
guys.
easy.
Not easy.
Just do stuff.
But maybe just, I don't know, think outside the box, or just keep throwing the big stars out there and hoping for the best. Just keep MJF out there.
Shane McMahon.
Yeah,
get him on the blower.
Yeah, Shane McMahon.
If you've never spoke to him, Tony, maybe now's the time to turn that around. Give him a bell. See what happens.
Can't wait for the next Wrestling Observer News. That's it. Yes, I have now spoken to him. He'll be there. He'll be there. This week on Dynamite, he'll be there. It'll be a great time. But speaking of things that we have got coming up in the future that do not include Shane McMahon, that we know of so far anyway. SummerSlam. SummerSlam's coming soon, isn't it? It's not far away at all. We've got August 3rd is SummerSlam time, and Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, that thing again, he's offered a few updates on the matches that look like they are going to be going down at SummerSlam. So, one of the big ones, they're all pretty big, let's be honest. So the first big one is over the WWE Championship, the undisputed WWE Championship. That is going to be Cody Rhodes, apparently, versus Solo Sikoa. And we got a little bit of a preview, obviously, on SmackDown of that before, the whole Jacob Fatu stuff. So it looks like, yes, we are heading in that direction for the biggest party of the summer in Cleveland. And then you got Cleveland's own Logan Paul. Yes, Logan Paul is going to be taking on LA Knight for the US title, is seemingly the plan right now. Yeah. And he was putting over that as well on SmackDown, and he got punched in the face. Like, they've been building towards that, is what I mean, on SmackDown, like, over the last couple of weeks. So that is the direction we go in. Hopefully he lifts the belt, but that's probably not going to go down too well in Cleveland. It's a bit of a strange one they've got going on there. But for me, the match that I'm definitely most excited for, obviously, again, after this week's SmackDown, is potentially CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. Obviously, Drew McIntyre just killed CM Punk. There's been a lot of murders going down in WWE recently, and he murdered him on SmackDown. And, well, the plan... The thing that they're hoping for, I'm saying plan's probably not the word for this one, the thing WWE are hoping for, they're keeping all the fingers and toes crossed for, is that they can get CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre on that SummerSlam card. So, Meltzer has put his notes, it is all depending on his torn triceps, like how that's recovering and everything else, but he says the hope is that Punk versus McIntyre will take place at SummerSlam on the 3rd of August in Cleveland, but we are told that as of right now, it's up in the air whether Punk will be ready by that date. It was emphasised to me that he could be ready, but it's not a sure thing. So for me, my wrestling brain suddenly goes, somebody is just trying to not give the game away too early, because you want that little bit of anxiety, that little bit of, I don't know, fear of like, oh, is Punk actually going to make it to... If he doesn't make it to SummerSlam, I'll cry. That's all I can do. I'll just cry. I'll put a video on Twitter or whatever, and it'll just be me crying, going, where's my Phil? And then you'll pop up and I'll be very confused.
That's completely thrown me off. Yes, I do really, really hope this happens. It's the biggest match they could possibly put on at SummerSlam, I think, right now. The build to it, like, where they don't even have like an actual set destination or anything yet, the build has been absolutely wonderful through all of this. They've done such a good job of keeping this going, sort of not under the radar, but kind of in the background there, behind the scenes. And it's been this good week to week without them even having a set match or like a time frame in mind, because they're not really known about the Punk injury. So when they do finally get the all clear for Punk and his injury, and they get the match, whether that's at SummerSlam or wherever, like the moment, like they've not even turned it on to sort of full gear yet. Like they've still got somewhere else to go, somewhere else to build this, and they're already doing incredible stuff like they did last night. Punk screwing over Drew in Scotland, and then Drew coming straight back the same week to destroy Punk in Chicago is just absolutely beautiful.
The Paul Heyman element that's just been added back in. You're like, oh, is he going to have some part to play in all this now? Maybe we're going to get Roman Reigns and CM Punk teaming up at some... Oh, my brain.
So much to it, and it's so good, and it's so entertaining. And yeah, like I say, they've not even sort of got into the full swing of building this match yet. It's going to be great, and I cannot wait. So please let it happen at SummerSlam, because it needs to be in front of a big stadium, big crowd, and 100% main event SummerSlam. It's going to be beautiful. Although, will it main event? It won't be for a title.
It's for the Get the Rocks People's Championship, and this will be the real People's Champion. There you go. How about that?
There you go. That'll work for me. But that is it. Thank you very much for joining us. Let us know down in the comments below what you think of all of today's stories. Follow us over on Twitter. You can follow me at PhilMyChambers. You can follow Gareth
at GMorgan04.
Click the video on the screen to continue your YouTube journey. Ups and Downs is coming up very soon on the channel, so look out for that. And most importantly, have yourselves a bloody good day.
Mwah.